Silence engulfed the barren red planet. It was as if the vastness of the universe itself had paused at the single point on Mars. Amidst the crimson and black dust of this lifeless world, humanity's footsteps echoed once again, this time, perhaps for the last time. The year was 2028 and the mission AERS-7 was the most ambitious and dangerous space endeavor in human history. Its purpose? To trace the origin of a mysterious signal detected from Mars. The signal wasn't ordinary. It was a rhythmic, haunting pulse, resembling the sound of breathing, inhale, exhale. But it wasn't just breathing. It was something deeper, something inexplicably unsettling, and possibly beyond human comprehension. The leader of the mission, Commander Rizwan, had landed on Mars with his crew to unravel the secret behind it. This is Commander Rizwan reporting. Mars surface stable, temperature approximately minus 60 DEGC, and we've reached our designated landing point. Rizwan spoke into his comms, his voice steady despite the tension. Rizwan was a seasoned astronaut, having participated in missions to the Moon and the International Space Station. But this mission was unlike any other. The crew was equally skilled. Dr. Sarah Malik, an astrobiologist, had joined the mission with the hope of uncovering the first evidence of extraterrestrial life. Her focus was to decode the biological or alien origins of this signal. Mark Diaz, the engineer, was a technical genius ensuring that every piece of equipment functioned flawlessly. And then there was Ali Han, a geologist eager to analyze the Martian soil for clues about the planet's history. But for now, the entire team had one goal: to find the source of the signal. The signal originated near the Olympus Mons region, close to an unexplored crater named Nyx crater. The crater had been named after Nyx, the Greek goddess of the night and fear. The name felt eerily fitting, almost as if it had been chosen for a reason. But there was no time to dwell on that thought. Sarah, the signal's frequency is interfering with our equipment. It's almost as if it's interacting with our comms directly, Mark said, staring at the fluctuating readings on his laptop screen. This shouldn't be possible. No naturally occurring signal behaves like this. Exactly, Sarah responded, her tone a mix of excitement and apprehension. What's more shocking is that this signal isn't static. It's constantly shifting, almost like a living organism's heartbeat. Rizwan exhaled deeply. If this is a living signal, then we might have just found the first proof of alien life. But we need to uncover its source. They began their journey toward Olympus Mons in their rover, moving closer to the mysterious Nyx crater. Unlike other parts of Mars, the terrain here felt different. The soil was darker, almost black in some areas, as if it had been scorched by molten lava. Night was falling and the temperature was plummeting. The Martian sky during dusk turned a deep, blood-red hue. Commander, something feels off, Ali said, closely examining the readings on his spectrometer. The magnetic field around Nyx crater is unstable. It doesn't match Mars's natural properties. Rizwan listened intently but didn't respond. Instead, he adjusted his helmet visor and peered through the rover's telescope toward the crater. What he saw sent a chill down his spine. The darkness within the crater seemed unnaturally deep, as if light itself refused to enter. This isn't just a crater, Rizwan thought to himself. But he chose not to voice his concern, not wanting to alarm his team. As they neared the crater, a strange vibration began to ripple through the ground. It wasn't just their instruments that detected it. They could feel it in their bones, in their very core. The signal grew stronger and more distinct. Commander, this doesn't feel like a place for humans, Sarah said, her voice trembling slightly. There's something unnatural here. Rizwan looked at Sarah, then back at the crater. We're here for answers, Sarah. That's the mission. We can't turn back now. They stepped out of the rover, their boots crunching against the cold Martian soil. The closer they got to the crater, the more the vibrations intensified. It was as if the ground was alive, responding to their every step. When they reached the edge of the crater, they saw it, a door. The door wasn't made of any material they recognized. Metallic, yet otherworldly, it stood embedded in the side of the crater, its surface etched with strange glowing symbols. The symbols shifted and pulsed faintly, as if alive, forming patterns no human language could decipher. What kind of door is this? Mark asked, his gloved hand lightly touching its surface. This metal doesn't match any known element from Earth. Whatever it is, it's not human, Ridwan said, his voice heavy with the weight of discovery. This means we've uncovered something extraordinary. Sarah activated her scanner, but as soon as she pointed it at the door, the device malfunctioned. It's emitting radiation, she said, frowning. But this radiation, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered. Mark pushed against the door with all his strength, and slowly it began to creak open. As the door opened, a gust of air rushed out, cold, sharp, and impossibly alive. Air on Mars? That was impossible. But what was even more disturbing was the sound carried by the wind. It was a voice. Those who enter never return. The words echoed in their calms as if whispered directly into their minds. Those who enter never return. The team froze, their eyes darting to one another in silence. The alien symbols on the door seemed to pulse brighter as if responding to the voice. The chilling gust of air had left frost-like patterns on their visors, patterns that strangely resembled the same symbols etched on the door. What the hell was that? Mark finally broke the silence, his voice shaky. Could it be interference? Some sound distortion? Vadamnan Sirath suggested, but her tone betrayed her disbelief. Radolin, distortion doesn't feel this real, Rizwan muttered. He stared at the open door, trying to keep his composure. Stay calm. We've trained for the unexpected. Let's proceed cautiously. The crater around them seemed to hum, a low-frequency vibration they could feel in their chests. It was as if the ground beneath them had a heartbeat. The open doorway led into a tunnel, descending into darkness. The edges smooth and symmetrical, too perfect to be a natural formation. This isn't just a crater, Ali said, his voice barely above a whisper. This was built. Rizwan nodded. Mark, set up the portable lights. Sarah, scan the entrance for any signs of biological or chemical activity. Mark hurriedly placed the portable lights around the entrance. As they powered on, their beams cut through the Martian gloom, illuminating the alien doorway and the beginning of the tunnel. Yet the light seemed to dim unnaturally, as though the darkness within the tunnel was swallowing it. Commander, Sarah called, staring at her malfunctioning scanner. This place is emitting energy levels I can't even measure. It's messing with all our equipment. And look at this. She pointed to the frost patterns on her visor. These symbols, they are not random. They are a language. A language? Rizwan's brow furrowed. Do you think it's a warning? Or an invitation? Sarah replied hesitantly. Rizwan glanced at the team. The unease was palpable. They were explorers, scientists, astronauts, trained for the unknown. But this felt different. This felt alive. We go in, Rizwan decided firmly. We are here to uncover the truth, and we've come too far to turn back now. No one protested. They knew the mission came first, even if their instincts screamed otherwise. One by one, they entered the tunnel. The descent. The temperature dropped as they moved deeper into the tunnel. The walls, smooth and metallic, glistened faintly under the dim lights. Strange, unearthly symbols lined the walls, glowing faintly as if alive, pulsing with a rhythm that matched the vibrations beneath their feet. Mark, Rizwan said, his voice low. Keep marking our path. We need a clear way out. Mark nodded, using his equipment to leave electronic markers along the tunnel walls. But the deeper they went, the more the markers began to glitch, their signals becoming weaker. This place is interfering with everything, Mark muttered. frustration creeping into his voice. It's like it's deliberately messing with us. Hmm. The air grew heavier, almost suffocating despite their suits, and then they heard it again. The voice. Inhale, exhale. It wasn't a whisper this time. It was a deep guttural sound that resonated through the tunnel, vibrating through their helmets. Did anyone else hear that? Ali asked, his voice trembling. We all heard it. Rizwan said, gripping his flashlight tightly. Stay together, stay focused. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. The team stopped, stunned by what lay before them. The chamber the chamber was massive, its ceiling stretching far above, disappearing into the shadows. The walls were covered in more symbols, but these glowed brighter, their patterns shifting and changing as if responding to the team's presence. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal, and atop it rested a sphere, black as obsidian, yet it seemed to absorb and distort the light around it. The sphere pulsed faintly, emitting a sound eerily similar to a heartbeat. What is that? Sarah whispered, stepping closer. It's the source of the signal, Rizwan said, his voice firm but laced with awe. Sarah activated her equipment to scan the sphere, but as she approached, the symbols on the walls flared brighter and the heartbeat like sound grew louder. Wait, Rizwan called out, but it was too late. As Sarah's scanner beeped, the sphere reacted violently. A blinding flash of light filled the chamber and the team was thrown backward. When the light faded, the chamber seemed different. The walls now glowed a deep red, and the symbols appeared to pulse with a menacing energy. Saray, Rizwan shouted, scrambling to his feet. She was gone. Panic in the dark. Where is she? Ali yelled, frantically looking around. Sarah, Mark called, his voice echoing in the chamber. She was right here, Rizwan said, scanning the area with his flashlight. There was no trace of her. And then the voice returned, louder and more menacing. Those who seek shall pay the price. The team huddled together, their breaths ragged. The chamber seemed to close in on them, the walls vibrating with an ominous energy. We need to get out of here, Mark said, panic in his voice. No, Rizwan said firmly, though fear gripped him as well. We don't leave anyone behind. We find Sarah. But as they turned to search, the chamber shifted. The walls seemed to move, the symbols rearranging themselves. The exit they had come through was gone, replaced by another tunnel. But this place is changing, Ali said, his voice trembling. It's alive. Rizwan took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Stay close. We move together. We find Sarah and get out of here. But deep down, they all knew the crater wasn't just a place, it was a trap, and it wasn't going to let them leave easily.